right, there it is. Feast your eyes. 278 games played by 32 teams. Now I'm joined by one of the brilliant minds behind the 2024 NFL schedule, an odyssey, an impossible, intricate puzzle solved by the NFL's Director of Broadcasting, Charlotte Carey. Charlotte, thank you for taking the time this morning. Congratulations. Y'all are geniuses. You figured it out. It was delayed, though. How different did it look yesterday with the release than it did like 10 days ago?
You know, it's a good question. First of all, thank you for having me, Kay. Excited to be back this year. It looked fairly different. I mean, the overall structure towards the end, I would say, is pretty much the same. We really lock in on things that we like to see and then just shake it up a little bit every night and try to work out some of the kinks and things that we may want to take a little extra time for and see if we can fix. And I think that we ended up here. This was actually the last schedule that we ended up looking at. We had a really good schedule that was hard to beat, and we tried to beat it for a couple days and couldn't. And this last one actually ended up winning. So kind of fun to have the last one win, especially, you know, it was a great run. We had a lot of time to work on this year, and the whole team, you know, was really locked in over the whole long weekend last weekend and presented this to Roger on Monday and ended up being the winner.
Your job is not easy. Congrats. Hopefully you're taking a vacation at some time soon. And so much of it is balance. It's all of it. It's keeping everybody happy and so many different new partners, Netflix swooping and all this. What was the part of making the schedule this year that was unique, that maybe what was the moment, whether it was a certain week or a holiday or the quick turnarounds by so many teams that kept you guys in your seats the longest, the knot that was the hardest to come unloose?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, honestly, like, you know, you could talk about any different piece of it, but, you know, to dive into Christmas a little bit, that one was pretty interesting because we had to find 4 teams. Christmas is on a Wednesday, obviously, this year. So we had to find 4 teams that all played each other and that could play the previous Saturday because we need 4 days in between games coming back on Wednesday. So it needed to be a little bit like Christmas round robin, if you will. So we have a really fun matchup that, or couple of matchups that we think that will be relevant, hopefully down the stretch here with, you know, the AFC North this year is a bit of a powerhouse. So that'll be fun to have Pittsburgh and Baltimore. And then we also brought KC and Houston in. So that one in particular was, I would say we spent a ton of time on week 16 and week 17 this year. Week 17, we've got a lot of windows. We have our Christmas windows on Wednesday, our regular Thursday night game on Amazon. Then we have our 3 Saturday NFL Network games, regular Sunday slate with 1 o'clock, 4:25, and, you know, our NBC Sunday night, and then a Monday night game. So we have a lot of mouths to feed in week 17, and we spent an inordinate amount of time just making sure that we had the right games in the right spots and also left over something for Sunday afternoon.
I cannot wait for that week. It'll be nonstop football. I'll just be in my pajamas and sweatpants, elastic waistband the entire way through. I can't wait. I love primetime. Let's dig in. Niners, Cowboys, Jets tied for most with 6. Aaron Rodgers and company really stand out here to me because all 6 of these primetime games, plus a 7 standalone game in London, they happened within the first 11 weeks. What went into this decision of packing it all in so early?
You know, that's a good question. I would say that wasn't forced in early by any stretch. We liked where they fell, but we weren't trying to avoid it late, if that was what you were getting at. You know, I think that a lot of this schedule, the structure, we also love the idea of getting Aaron Rodgers on early. Everyone's dying for Aaron Rodgers. So trying to make sure that all the networks get a little bite at the apple. Given that, you know, we had so much excitement about this last year, we're basically running it back, right? Especially with week 1, starting again on Monday Night Football.
Love that. Everyone, I don't know. Everyone wanted pieces of Aaron Rodgers. That's news to me. That's great. 40-year-old coming off an Achilles tear. Can't wait to see it. The Bears, Chicago girl, they jumped out to me here. Objectively, 5 standalone games this season, starting with the week 2 Sunday nighter at Houston. I mean, come on, Charlotte, Caleb Williams up against CJ Stroud. This is amazing. But there is there's a wild quirk here too. They don't play a single division game until they face the Packers in week 11. So what was the discussion in that room, and what made everybody comfortable with that?
So just to start a little bit backtracking on the Bears in general, I think that, you know, the one piece, as you'll remember, Kay, like a few years ago, the schedule didn't come out or it came out before draft. So we didn't even have, you know, those draft stories or pieces to put the puzzle together to actually be able to react afterwards. Now we have that time, and a team like the Bears is so exciting now post-draft, and they were an exciting team at the end of last year too. But this is a team that we're really counting on. And you'll see, as you said, a decent amount of prime time there, but also we're using them strategically across like our 1 o'clock windows and where they can anchor and help in certain areas. They're a team that you're going to see a lot of this year. As for the division piece, it's definitely a little kooky, but they're not the only team that has that. And it's something that, it falls where it falls, and it's a team, again, like the AFC North. The NFC North is also really exciting this year, and it could make for a really fun run down the stretch.
I love that. Tom Brady in the booth, okay? He gets a pretty good slate. I looked at it right away. So what's he going to get? I know Cowboys and Browns to kick it off. Chiefs-Niners Super Bowl rematch. Charlotte, I would argue that this is the biggest game of the year. Is getting Tom on the call, does it say something about the confidence we have in the GOAT here? That is a huge game.
It's a huge game, and it'll be so much fun to have Tom on the call there. I think we're all really excited as football fans in general to see what Tom can do in the booth and transition off the field. But, that game in particular, that was one that we saw in a lot of different places, right? Like that is probably the game of the year. You could point to a few of them this year, but it's just everyone's excited for it. It has a lot of hype. Super Bowl rematch. Two of arguably the best teams, in terms of what we're expecting going into this year. And, it fell in a really good spot. We love the 425 window for that reason. It's our highest viewed window. And to have Tom Brady on the call is pretty fun. It's
epic. I can't wait. I love the schedule. I love everything about it. Now, there's a theory, Charlotte, going around about the Chiefs schedule. Defending champs, they play in Buffalo on November 17th. Same weekend that Taylor Swift is performing in nearby Toronto. You tell me. Some fans think this was intentional. Are you saying it was a coincidence?
I'll let you decide, Kay.
I mean, I always found it interesting between you and Mike, even back at Good Morning Football, when you guys would talk about how much world tours and musical acts and things, like if Billy Joel was playing, like it would be tough to, what was there something that was a wrench in the schedule in that world?
You know what? There are a lot of, there are tours and things as there are every year, and it always gets harder and harder and more things happen. Taylor actually is coming back to the U.S. and during our football season and has a couple of blocks in there too. But, I think that we've gotten to the point with, our technology partners and whatnot, where we are able to work around of a lot of these blocks. I mean, I think at the end of the day, we still need to be able to play football in all the weeks that we actually need to be home and play football. Yeah. But there wasn't one tour that came through that was, completely egregious and really, set us kind of on our seats there. But no, Taylor's definitely a factor this year also.
There you go, folks. A few weeks ago, Mr. Goodell talked about the possibility of adding I just want your reaction to him wanting to add an 18th game to the schedule in the near future. That's going to change your job up a little bit. So not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but how does that affect your process going forward?
That affects our process with, we will see what happens in the future. I don't, we'll see what happens. And if that does happen, it could be very exciting. I don't have a really good answer for you on that one. You probably know more about it than I do at this point.
No, but I mean, you got to throw an extra bye in there. Apparently, you got to balance out the strength of schedule. Like it would
we'll
be, it would be wild. In the meantime, enjoy it. I hope you disconnect your. I saw that. I don't think you're on Twitter. Do you have a burner Twitter account? Do you like? How could you possibly be on social media? What would that even look like for you in the past 2 days? Right?
You know what, Kay? I've got a 5-month-old and a 4-year-old at home, so like Twitter is. I think it has a new name these days, and that's pretty much where I am on that beat.
I think Mike North has the burner account. He's going saying this strength of schedule is pretty great. Send. That'll be him. Well, get back to the adorable 5-month-old and the 4-year-old, I believe you said. Congrats on the schedule. It is epic. We cannot wait, and just the celebration of it all. I know you're not taking it in, but it is a party. It is an absolute party for all of us NFL fans. So appreciate you. Thanks for all the work that you do. Charlotte Carey, the NFL's Director of Broadcasting. Thank you.
Thanks, Kay.
Taylor Swift, a factor, everybody. It's what everybody wanted to know. We'll be back
Always.
After this with the head coach of the Vikings, Kevin O'Connell, is joining the show.